Time and time again, these movies continue to prove one thing for me, and that is humans are dumb. 30 minutes is 30 minutes, and the fact that this entire ensemble crumbled within that time frame somehow made this movie better. Greetings and salutations. Today we're going to be talking about Alien Romulus, which is the latest entry in the Alien franchise. Directed by Fede Alvarez and still produced by Ridley Scott, so you still have the hallmarks of the original films, but it's still bringing something fresh to your attention. Set between Alien and Aliens, from what I hear, there's a difference. We follow a group of space orphans who just want to escape their miserable 9-to-5 existence off this hellish planet with no sun and finally touch some grass. So they hatch a plan to escape said planet, which is met with no resistance whatsoever. Then they go on to seek this abandoned space station and then go on to steal some cryo chambers to help them on their journey towards freedom. Hi there, has it registered yet that we're watching an alien movie? So most likely the aliens are just chilling in a Foot Locker. We're not getting it. Characters are not getting it right now. And from here, we enter spoiler territory. Unless you've seen the rest of the Alien franchise, from what I hear, it's nothing new. I'm gonna level with you guys. I've only ever seen the original Alien movie when I was 12, hiding and cowering behind my Mickey Mouse blanket. So forgive me if I forget any details or I might be missing a couple things because I haven't seen the rest of the franchise. I don't really think you need a PhD in alien lore to kind of figure out what's going on and keep up. This film doesn't really go too deep into the characters, mainly because 80% of them die within the first 30 minutes of the film. We've got Dora, which is also named Kate in this film, Ripley remake, Rain, and then Android Andy, who are what we are left with by the time the film ends, and I don't even think Dora made it that far. 2 out of these 3 people I actually care about. You can do the math on that one. As for the rest of the Expendables, they were expendable simply for the sake of the plot, and also were imperative because of the roles they served within the group. As we saw in the trailer, the Asian chick who's the pilot for everyone on the ship ends up getting face battled and delivering a little xenomorph baby on her way. In the same sense, we also have autopilot in the ship. Anyone else can direct the ship, so she was just there. And the down under doofus, who I wanted to die within the first 10 seconds of him speaking. That, and he also decided to be smart and stick his electric stick in some suspicious goo trap because maybe that'll work. Did we learn nothing from the first time we tried to do this? I'm gonna need you to wrap it up, all right? Or get some plan B. Something. Things move pretty quickly throughout this film, and it could either work against the film or it could work in its favor. You could say this film is very plot driven, so we're trying to get from point A to B, or it's a fetch quest that's gone wrong. Gallo or Galo Oliveras, or whomever was within the production of the sound design, I'm gonna need you to get that raise now. I know Disney is pinching pennies. They're over here trying to scramble and figure out what they're doing with the Marvel Universe and barely looking at Star Wars right now, but I'm gonna need you to get that check because you did your thing in this movie. Fede Alvarez clearly respects Ridley Scott's legacy within this franchise. Like, you could just see it. And again, you don't have to be an alien expert to appreciate this film. The production firstly has to care about the world that they're building, and it will show across audiences, and audiences will appreciate that and show respect in return. It has been so long since I felt completely immersed in the fictional world that is set in a sci-fi universe. From the 80s related outfits to the claustrophobic tension, this film gets it right. The tone and the overall look of this film matches. It's dark, it's eerie, it's brimming with dread. The second these people set foot on that station, things have already gone south and we haven't even seen an alien yet. But that's just the tension that never lets up throughout this entire movie. There's one scene in the movie where the camera swings around to this station access point, and I felt like I was playing Alien Isolation for a moment, like my hands were getting ready. I'm hearing the sound above me, behind me. I'm waiting to get sound blasted by shrill screams, scrapes, and booms. They achieved it. I'm terrified, almost to the brink of exhaustion from being on the edge of my seat this entire movie. And the xenomorphs were absolutely terrifying. I will say I wish I saw more of what they could do. They stick to the original design of the xenomorphs, but also add in a horrifying twist, which is just a mixture of practical effects and CGI that is seamless, and it makes them look even more realistic. As for the characters, and like I mentioned, Andy and Rain were the standouts in this film. They actually had common sense, which is rare for a thriller film, and their dynamic actually worked. Andy in particular, and surprisingly, carried a lot of the emotional weight in this film, even when he switched from helpless companion to a corporate spawn. So I even forgot about the concept of androids being in this world. And on top of that, Andy had some quirks, so I wasn't entirely sure if they were trying to make a character that was possibly on the spectrum or if I was just reading too much into his mannerism. Either way, David Johnson killed it. That, and I don't know if his beef with another character was meant to feel racially motivated. It felt pretty racially motivated. The face huggers also feels like an unavoidable thing. So when you have one guy with a melee weapon that's electric and he's over here batting the life out of these things, it almost just seems like he has way too good of hand-eye coordination for this. We also have face huggers that are just squirming around with 16-inch swords and planting in people. And we're thinking, yeah, let's save the person that's least likely to be alive and have them running around to eventually die at a later time. Yeah, the chestburster scene seemed like a good moment in the trailer, but when you see it in real time, you're like, none of these people are reacting the way that they should be reacting to seeing something like that for the first time. Now, this film has a lot of references or connections and even Easter eggs from previous films or other connections to future films, but not all of them are great. Now, I know I talked about weird moments that happen throughout this film that are like, it's all right. But this, for example, completely threw me off the film and my initial perception of it, where it's that scene with Rain and she's falling down this elevator shaft because zero gravity has been shut off. And there's this xenomorph that's just hanging out on this ladder, catches her, puts her back on the ladder. And the only thing that was missing from that scene is for it to just pat her on the head and call her champ. It just let her go on about her business. And then when the tension came back, the whole army of the xenomorphs came. And all of a sudden that one xenomorph was like, oh, right. I'm an alien. This is Alien. Right. All right, time to eat you. Mind you, I haven't seen Prometheus. And initially, I thought that was Kate. That was catching her on that elevator shaft. But then when I see her somewhat alive on the ship, I'm just like, then who is that? Dora is the dumbest character in this movie and only survives simply because she's pregnant. But she cannot see 10 feet in front of her that there's a big gaping hole that's gonna make her fall another 50 feet. She slams her head against the ship. She falls and possibly could have broken her back. She gets stabbed and impaled by a xenomorph. And she's just chilling amongst their goo. And then she doesn't also get affected by the black goo she took. The baby gets affected. I also talk about the film having a very fast pacing, but that's to an extent. We get a decent build-up before we get any xenomorph action or presence on screen, and then when it finally hits, it feels like we fast-tracked through all the best parts. And because of this, characters drop like flies, as if they're nothing but people to be discarded. And on top of that, you're just fast tracking through everything until you get to that final ending sequence. So things seemed wrapped up towards the end of this film. But oh wait, we forgot about our easy-baked science experiment, who, yes, for the 100th time, is a completely real person that exists on this planet. I just want to say thank you for your natural bow-leggedness, the chronic scoliosis, the natural but terrifying height, and the sinister grills that production decided to give you. You did this movie a great service. I hope you get as many tax breaks as you possibly can from this movie. The way he emerged from the cryo smoke like Darth Vader and ends up sucking the life force out of his mom's calcium cannons and proceeds to run around this spaceship smirking while Rain is terrified. I was not thinking, there's actually a person that looks like this that is running around. Whomever took the time to paint, to sculpt, to freaking build the prosthetic of his little pocket pucker. I hope your gas is full of tank. Overall, I gotta say, the atmosphere, the tension, and the overall effects in this movie are well worth experiencing, and there's enough here to make any newcomer a fan. But for the purists, I cannot say that it fully hit the mark, as I can also not speak for that majority. That being said, Alien has all the right ingredients that you could ever need in a sci-fi film, but it's half-baked in its execution. I'm just gonna need you to refire that, chef. Just a little bit more time in the oven. But what did you guys think of Alien Romulus? Did you even see it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Comment down below along with your theories and inquiries, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave me a like, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. And there's also links down below for new endeavors, because fun stuff happens there sometimes. But anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye.